everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Dasha and first and foremost, I am so sorry for not uploading a video in like literal centuries. However, if you've watched my videos before, then you know that I'm in my final year of university, so you best believe that I've been drowning in work. However, me being so busy over the last 3 months is exactly what has inspired me to make this video, because I want to share with you guys my tips and tricks for learning a language, even if you feel like you have no time for it. I know that a lot of my subscribers are also very busy with school, university, work, life, etc. So if you find this video useful, then please leave a like and subscribe. Please note that the things that I will talk about in this video can be applied to any language, but I will be applying it to a Chinese context as that is my current target language. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first piece of advice that I want to give to you guys is to make the most of your spare time throughout the day. Okay, and by that I mean that even if you're super busy, you'll find that you still have the odd 5-minute break throughout the day, you know, maybe at lunchtime, or if you're in a queue of some sort, I don't know, like getting coffee or something. Or if you're like me and you take the bus to university every day, then you might even have a solid hour or two to spare. And there are so many quick things that you could do during these spare moments throughout the day that contribute to your target language. So, I mean, I don't know, it could include a quick Duolingo lesson, maybe some flashcards on Quizlet or Anki. I've been doing the lessons on Supertask recently, since they're, you know, directly related to HSK, and I think that's a pretty good option as well. Another really good suggestion, if you have a spare, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, is to listen to a podcast episode or two. I have been absolutely loving podcasts, like in this last year in particular, and the one that I'm currently listening to is a Russian one. But prior to that, to consolidate the knowledge and, you know, the words and stuff that I learned for HSK2, I listened to this podcast that I'll put on the screen right now. It's actually a Spanish podcast where the presenters teach Chinese in Spanish, but that was actually a really great way for me to practice 2 languages at the same time, and I really recommend it. The idea for it actually came from this like polyglots video that I watched. I can't remember their name, but basically they recommended learning like a beginner language in one of your advanced languages. But yeah, that's actually really helped me because I don't really go out of my way to learn Spanish nowadays. Just have a look on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or even YouTube and just see if there's anything that works for you. If your language level is quite advanced, then maybe you could even listen to some audiobooks. The second tip that I want to give is to utilize immersive strategies. And by that I mean consuming content in your target language. My favorite way to do this, and I think I mentioned this in my Lazy Girl study routine video, check out, link in bio, is to watch TV shows in your target language. Netflix has a lot of like, you know, American and British TV shows or movies or whatever where you can change the audio language. So for example, I recently watched Emily in Paris but with Russian dubbing. Or an even better option is of course watching the content that is, you know, native to that country. So for example, I recently watched 2 Chinese dramas called Everyone Loves Me and Put Your Head on My Shoulder. And although I had to watch it with English subtitles, just listening to how the native Chinese speakers interacted with one another was so useful. And I really want to watch more C-dramas, so if you guys have any recommendations, please comment them down below. There's also a YouTuber I watch actually who vlogs in Chinese. I'll put her on the screen as well, and yeah, that's a really good option. Something else that I've done is I've fine-tuned the Instagram algorithm so that it shows me a lot of Chinese Instagram reels on my studygram and Russian reels on my personal Instagram. And let me tell you, this is a really great way to consume content in your target language, even when you just want to be lazy and scroll through videos for hours. So yeah, the third tip that I'm gonna give, this is actually something that scared me a lot first, but writing a diary entry every day in my target language has improved my writing ability so much. And it sounds quite daunting, but even if your level is quite beginner and you feel like you can't express yourself in that language very well, do not let that limit you from doing this exercise. Like, my sentences were very basic when I first started doing this. Like, I actually first started doing this in my Instagram captions, and let me tell you, they were just so basic. Like, there's no other way to describe them. And even though I don't feel like I can express myself to the fullest extent still in Chinese, like, obviously not, like, I'm still HSK 3 level, I can confidently say that my writing ability has improved just massively thanks to this exercise. It's also really useful in expanding your vocabulary beyond HSK. So, for example, I first started using the word sanja, which is to attend, to talk about my society meetings. And then when it came up in my extracurricular classes, I was like, I know what that means because I already used it in my writing. So yeah, I knew what it meant and I knew how to use it, and that was great. However, I will say, do not overuse words that you don't know, because it'll be very hard for you to remember them if you use too many brand new words, and you probably just won't use them again in the future. I recommend you give yourself a limit for new words. So for example, 3 new words per diary entry, and then just try and use the vocabulary that you already know to structure the rest of the sentences. Doing this will increase the chances of you remembering the new words that you do use, whilst also allowing you to practice the words that you already know. And I cannot stress the importance of really building upon like the knowledge base that you've already built for yourself. One of the ways that I use like AI for language learning is to correct like the paragraphs that I've written after I've written these diary entries. If you guys want a full video on AI for language learning, then just let me know. But I basically just copy and paste my paragraph into ChatGPT and then ask it to correct it for me. And then if there's anything that needs explaining after that, then I just ask it to explain it for me, and it does it, and it's great. The next thing that I want to suggest is attending extracurricular classes. Now, if your school or university does not offer extracurricular classes in your target language, then you can find a private tutor on an app like italki or Preply. Or I will say many universities, including my own, also offer online language classes, and you don't need to be a student at the university to join them. Like, you just have to pay basically, and you know, you can join them. So if you just as a person function better in group lessons over private lessons, which I definitely do, I much prefer being in a group lesson than a private lesson, then definitely check it out, see if there's any classes out there that, you know, suit your needs. Anyway, what I wanted to say about extracurricular classes is that, you know, I personally learn the best in a classroom environment, and having an hour or 2 every week, like my classes are 1.5 hours, where you know you're going to be learning Chinese no matter what, I just feel like it puts less pressure on you throughout the week to do a ton of work, you know, in a period when you already feel like you don't really have much time for it. I've done 3 semesters of extracurricular Chinese classes now, and because my classes aren't related to HSK, we actually follow the Discover China textbook series, I feel like I know a lot more vocab than the average person at an HSK 2/3 level, so that's definitely an advantage. Maybe it's a personal preference, but these classes are genuinely something that I look forward to in the week. Like, I love learning languages, and because my degree is not language related, I study international relations, I always have a blast. Oh my god, that sounds so sad, doesn't it? Oh, I don't know, I just really like it. And maybe you guys will as well. So the last piece of advice that I want to give you guys is to just prioritize quality over quantity. Do not make yourself feel like you have to become fluent in a certain period of time, because when life gets busy, which it will at some point, and you feel like you're not progressing as fast as you want to, you're just going to get demotivated and probably stop altogether. And I can say this because I know this feeling all too well. This is something that I experienced with Spanish. And by incorporating these low pressure activities into my Chinese, I've just found that the quality of my language learning is so much higher, and the progress that I do make is a lot more meaningful. So definitely prioritize quality over quantity. And also stick to your own timeline. Do not compare yourself to other learners, because everyone learns at a different pace. That's so important. But yeah, thank you so much guys for sticking around with me, even though I've been really busy and not posting. I do actually post more often on my Studygram, so do make sure you're following me on there. If you have any video requests, then do let me know. My HSK 3 exam is in March, so I shall be making content around that as well. I hope. No, I will. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!